Wednesday, everyone! Yeah, control yourselves. So remember back in grade school when the teacher would leave the room and tell everyone to behave while she was gone? Of course, the second she left, the room went wild. It's how I got my first tattoo. I'd show you, but the FCC doesn't allow frontal nudity. So it's great with the teacher gone, right? But remember how after a while it would get ugly, the bullying and the fights would start? Things would get tossed around the room, and by things, I mean me. So when the teacher came back, you were sort of relieved. In your heart, you knew the class needed a grown-up to keep things from chaos. Which brings us to America. Can someone please call the teacher back into the room? And not so they can sleep with their students, although that helps, but to save us from the madness. Every weekend, we're seeing the same stories of violent mobs disrupting and destroying our cities. It makes me remember the good old days when it used to be safe to poop in the street. Meanwhile, our colleges are handing out extra credit for intimidating and assaulting Jewish students, and shoplifting has become as lucrative for unskilled people as guest hosting The Daily Show.
It's true, though.
Our media and government are cheering this chaos like they're in the audience at The View and Joy Behar just threw him sardines. So at this point, can I just ask a simple question? Is anyone actually running this place? Or is it all by design? Because nothing goes wrong this perfectly. Let's take Atlanta. Last week, 2 BLM rioters were allowed to take a plea deal for burning down a Wendy's restaurant. Talk about flame broiling. The 2 arsonists, Chisholm Kingston and Natalie White, each received a $500 fine and probation. That's right, no jail time for first-degree arson. I'll remember that the next time I go through a drive-thru and they forget my ketchup. But I guess that's why they call it Hotlanta. Or they used to. I don't remember. The arson occurred after a black man suspected of a DWI got into a scuffle with police. The man got hold of one of the cops' tasers, fired twice, which is when the officer shot and killed him. And amid the ongoing protests after, someone shot and killed an 8-year-old black girl near the site a few weeks later. Now, this was during 2020's Summer of Love when rioters nationwide engaged in mostly peaceful protests that did $2 billion in damage and killed at least 19 people. It used to be to get that kind of love, you had to change your safe word to harder. So how do these 2 firebugs get a deal so sweet it should have come with a shot of insulin? Well, here's Fani Willis, the Atlanta chief prosecutor. She's doing such a great job on crime down there that Atlanta's Buckhead region, which accounts for 40% of the city's tax revenue, is actually trying to secede. At least Fani saved Kamala the trouble of having to bail the 2 arsonists out. So after the Wendy's became a smoking ruin, the site became yet another BLM shrine, an occupied zone. You know, just like Chaz, the autonomous zone in Seattle, where protesters took over the area around Seattle's East Precinct. After 6 shootings in a little over a week, the Chaz was finally cleared out. And just like the area around George Floyd Square, the intersection renamed after Floyd's death. That worked out great, too. Last month, store owners in George Floyd Square sued the city of Minneapolis, claiming that the area has become a hub for violent crime and that police won't even respond anymore. Strange how powerful those 3 letters are, BLM. They seem to instantly put prosecutors to sleep faster than a rum and coke from Bill Cosby. In fact, one major study found that the vast majority of charges against BLM protesters in the summer of 2020 were ultimately dropped or dismissed. And of course, massive fraud by BLM itself has never been investigated. So wait a minute, if nobody's holding anyone to account for all this, what is our criminal justice system actually doing? Well, there's Fani down in Atlanta who's keeping busy with her 13-count RICO on Donald Trump, which has to be the most bogus case since Prince Harry claimed he had balls. That was unnecessary. Oh, and there's always Jan 6, the most persecuted Jan since Eve Plum. Our feds just can't go to that well often enough, can they? Currently, over 1,200 people have been charged, many for just setting foot on the Capitol steps. Take, for instance, this man, Siaka Massaquoi. Nearly 3 years after the fact, the feds just picked him up, charged with misdemeanors, including trespassing, disorderly conduct, and parading in a Capitol building. Parading. 3 years of investigation for that. Countless man hours for this guy. Why do I get the feeling Siaka's major felonies are being a Trump supporter and a conservative on social media? Congressman Mike Collins, who represents an area near Atlanta, put it this way, quote, "I'm sure a lot of J6 trespassers would love to pay $500 and go home. If only they had burned down a building, maybe." I know, got the biggest laugh. Hire that guy. We need writers. So while the feds and progressive prosecutors obsess on Trump, Jan 6, and the ongoing plague of pronoun misuse, Jewish students on campus still feel unsafe. And we know that not because of any prosecution or arrests, but because of Republican-led hearings on Capitol Hill yesterday. Meanwhile, with the weekend coming up, the current crop of anti-Israel rioters made up heavily of Antifa and BLM rebrands will again shut down traffic and trains and commit random acts of violence and vandalism. And there will be no consequences. Is it me, or does it look like the teacher won't be back in the room until November 2024? That's only if he's not locked in the faculty room by the administrators. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's hairy, and his impressions are scary. Actor and stand-up comedian Tyler Fisher. He's done more triggering than an epileptic at a shooting range. Lawyer and townhall.com senior columnist Kurt Schlichter. She's like a Pop-Tart, a sugary treat that can fit in the toaster. New York Times best-selling author and Fox News contributor, Kat Tibb. And he eats his dinner with a knife and fork lift. New York Times best-selling author, comedian, and former NWA world champion, Tyrus. Tyler, I get the sense that our country is in a moral quandary. We're like in this new world where the rules that we used to live by no longer exist. Makes me think of the great philosopher Jordan Peterson. I wonder what he would have to say about this.
Well, probably start crying, get a little emotional, Well, I think he might have sympathy for the guy that burned down that Wendy's, because it's like, well, if you're hanging out at Wendy's, maybe $500 is a lot of money to you, It's like maybe that's 335 junior cheeseburgers, And maybe if he'd cleaned his damn room, got his life together, then he wouldn't pick up a match, It's like, well, that's about all I have to say about that, Greg.
What does Tyler think?
I think that, look, it's a double standard, double cheeseburger, double standard. And I think $500 is a lot of money for somebody who's broke. So,
Yeah.
But hey, when I was a new actor, a new comedian, that would have killed me.
Yeah, that's true.
So I say make him work the drive-through for a year at 2 a.m. He'll never do it again.
Yeah, that's true. Kurt, you're a lawyer. You claim to be a lawyer. I'm pretty sure you are a lawyer, right?
Well, sort of.
Yes, sort of. Do you think there's a double standard here?
I know there's a double standard. People are continually asking me, Greg, what is your legal opinion about all these things? And I don't have a legal opinion about it because it has nothing to do with law. It's the exact opposite of law. When I go to court on a regular case, so-and-so ran over so-and-so, you present facts, you have law, a judge makes a ruling, it's all normal, and then I see this insanity, this lunacy, where $500 for burning down a Wendy's. Maybe that's on target. It's a Wendy's. If it was a Jack in the Box, they'd actually give him money. And if it was an In-N-Out, he'd have to be hunted for sport.
Yes.
But no, there's a complete double standard. I mean, there's some grandma somewhere who took selfies in the rotunda, and she's doing hard time on a chain gang.
Yeah.
And this pair is going, yeah, here's $500 for my dad's trust fund. Let's go.
Yeah, it's an outrage, Kat. Have we become a country that now has political prisoners? Because that's what it feels like. We have people in jail because they were on the wrong side of an election.
Well, I've never really understood these kind of comparisons between, the setting building on fire versus January 6th, because, going into the building, whatever, disorderly conduct in the building is a lot different than setting it on fire. And then also the Capitol is a lot different than a Wendy's in a lot of different ways. But looking at them individually, right, the Wendy's $500 fine for setting it on fire, actually, back in 2020, that was a fine you could face for breaking lockdown rules. COVID lockdown rules would be $500. I feel like going out with your friends or having a restaurant that's open should be treated differently than burning one. But also, I've talked a lot on this show and elsewhere about over incarceration of nonviolent crimes. And I'd be a total hypocrite to talk about all of that. Regardless, I mean, January 6th was bad decision to go in that building for sure. But to say that an appropriate response, when what you're being charged with, the highest thing that you're being charged with really is like disorderly conduct in the Capitol, to be picked up by FBI agents at the airport and taken to jail, that is obviously a punishment and being treated in a way that does not fit a handful of misdemeanors.
It doesn't fit at all, Tyrus. That took them 3 years to nab this guy. What were they doing? They had people devoted to finding this guy.
Yeah, Greg, it does fit. It fits perfectly. What we're seeing in this country is we have two court systems, and how it works was it used to be rich and poor. Like if you had money for a real expensive lawyer, you get a couple lawyers and you defend it. Now, all you have to do is your crime has to fit the narrative of who the DA is. So if you're a left-leaning criminal, you don't pull in Alabama.
Yeah.
You do it in towns where you know that the AD is the attorney general or the district attorney. They're left-leaning because you're going to get treated like they're not going to hurt the cause. Because it used to be when you got arrested and went to jail, it was a deterrent, not just for you, for everybody else. So and they're saying they just burnt down the Wendy's. No, they cost about 45 people their jobs.
Yeah.
Property damage would be in the millions. Who's responsible for that? Because it used to be if you did something, if I hit a baseball and broke the window, I had to pay for the window.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now, as long as what I did was in the purview of whomever is in power, and we saw that in the George Floyd trial, where if it's a left-leaning judge, he's going to protect the narrative instead of the people. So we're seeing a real change in law to where, and your point was 100%. It wasn't law. It was they're on the right side. So that DA is going to give him a $500 fine. But you know what they did? They just inspired the next group.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting there with a cocktail in my hand, and I go to light it, and my friend goes, "Hey, don't do that." Why? They're going to pay my $500 for me. You want one? Yeah, why not? So they're just saying, as long as it's in the cause, as long as you're in line with BLM and these left-leaning, or in the same case, you can make it the right side too. We saw that in the 50s and in the 60s. Now it's on the left. So as long as you're in line, you're good, and you'll be continue to go on. And that's the part that's scary.
That is scary.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.